And then the most important part, so far as pregnancy is concerned for the woman, is that usually when a woman is resource negative, so it could be A negative, B negative, O negative. Usually when the woman is resource factor negative, and usually if the man is resource positive,
Okay.
we have a situation where since the woman is resource negative, the man introducing a resource positive in the woman will elicit some reaction in the woman that can harm the unborn child, usually a full human being. So once there's no sperm, which is also regulated by a hormone, which when there's no egg release, also regulated by a hormone, then conception becomes very difficult. So we are talking about the fact that when we are coming to give birth, or sorry, when we are going to get married, these screening tests can be done
Okay.
so that the woman will know, okay, are my follicular stimulating hormones normal?
Are they expensive? Because
Oh, no, no. You see, some of these things are okay, but in Ghana here, someone will say expensive is relative.
dependent.
But
Yeah.
generally speaking, I would say these tests are within budget. They are within budget.
Hello, family. You're welcome back to another amazing educative episode on Sex in the Temple. I want you to do us a favor. Go to the subscription button and then subscribe to our YouTube channel, because we are bringing you something that a lot of people are not talking about. We want to take you on a journey of not only educating you, but a journey of telling you about the importance of having pre-marital medical screening. With me here again today is our doctor, Dr. Isaiah, and he's my elder. Of course, I've introduced you to him earlier in the first episode that he is a lecturer at the University of Cape Coast, Accra College of Medicine. All the other ones, I know you will take the details from the first. Doctor, you're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Doctor, on our previous episode, we ended up talking about infectious diseases and how important. So I want us to talk about this hormonal test that we introduced. And let's go into detail. What are the hormonal tests? Why is it important that we do those tests?
All right. So thank you for having me once again. So the hormonal test that we talked about, or I introduced in the previous episode, was more about, you see, we are human beings. Everyone has hormones. Hormones make us who we are in terms of how we feel, how we even react to certain things. Even our heartbeat, everything is regulated by hormones in one way or the other. Our emotions are also controlled by hormones, but particularly our reproductive functions are also determined by hormones. So it is hormones that makes a woman conceive. They regulate the conception process and the cycle leading to conception. For example, every woman of reproductive age is ideally supposed to have menstrual cycle.
Okay.
Averagely every 28 days, averagely. Could be a little more or less. And within that time, hormones have a role to play. So in the women, mostly we have estrogen levels, we have progesterone levels, and these hormones are also controlled by another group of hormones, which are, for example, the luteinizing hormone, the follicular stimulating hormones. Now, these hormones regulate the estrogen progesterone levels of a female, so that, you know, the menstrual cycle is regulated, because there will be a time of menstruation, there will be a time where there will be no menstruation, and there will be rather ovulation. And without ovulation, conception becomes very difficult. And actually, it's a luteinizing hormone that is very paramount when you're talking about ovulation. That gives rise to ovulation. So without the luteinizing hormone, ovulation may not be complete, or ovulation may not be successful. And these hormones determine whether a woman will be having a child or not, because the ovulation process leads to the egg, the releasing of the egg from the ovary of a woman. So, right, if the egg is released into the fallopian tube, that is when we are saying that at that time, if a sperm is present, then there should be conception or fertilization. Now, hormones play a role. Without these hormones I just mentioned, ovulation does not occur.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't occur, the likelihood of having a child is very low.
Okay.
Now, for the men, men too have luteinizing hormone.
Okay.
And we have testosterone. Now, testosterone is also responsible for, or it has a role to play in sperm production. And if sperms are produced, then we know that it's a sperm and an egg that will eventually lead to a formation of a new human being in the form of an embryo, and it will develop, go through the various process of development to form a full, a full human being. So once there's no sperm, which is also regulated by a hormone, which when there's no egg release, also regulated by a hormone, then conception becomes very difficult. So we are talking about the fact that when we are coming to give birth, when we are going to get married, these screening tests can be done.
Okay.
So that the woman will know, okay, are my follicular stimulating hormones normal? Are my luteinizing hormones normal? Because this will eventually affect estrogen and progesterone levels. We can also measure estrogen and progesterone levels. And there could be periods in the month where these hormones can be measured. Because these hormones can play some kind of cyclical variations, whereby there are high, certain times they are very high in the month, certain times they are very low in the month. So within all these tests, when we do all these battery of tests, we can, and it falls within the normal ranges provided, the reference ranges provided, then we can say that when it comes to hormonal regulation for fertility testing, you may not have a problem.
Okay.
But when some of them may be too low than expected, then it brings out the question that it could be, or it could pose a challenge for fertility. Okay. So once that challenge is there, then fertility or the act of giving birth may be a little problematic. So for the man, if the sperm production is low, we need an amount of sperm to be able to get into the fallopian tube, and eventually one of them will eventually fertilize the egg. But at least there should be an amount that is deposited in the woman so that it can lead to fertilization. If we don't get that number of sperms, then it could be problematic for even one sperm to fertilize the egg. So eventually, we are saying that if the man has a low sperm count due to hormonal imbalance, or if the woman has no egg released due to imbalance in hormones, then there could be challenges in fertility. And talking about fertility, it may not only also be about hormones, because other factors can also make men have low sperm count. Okay, so right from birth, we have been told that the testes should not be in a heated environment. Too much heat can prevent the production of sperms. So once the child is exposed to too much heat, in the sense that wearing too tight panties, underwears, for the man especially, can lead to low sperm production. And it could also be genetic problem, or even could have a source from dietary source or any other source. So those investigations before marriage will help us to know that does a man have a normal sperm count? Does a woman has a normal hormonal balance? Does a man has a normal testosterone to promote sperm production and everything? All these things are looked at, so that when it has to do with concerns about fertility, then the couple will know that, okay, we are well to do, or we are okay to go, or solutions will have to be given, medications can be given, or advice can be given, lifestyle modifications can be done to enhance these hormonal imbalance.
Wow, this is deep, because sometimes when couples don't have children, normally we just say it's the lady, she has had a lot of abortions, and these factors are not taken into consideration, but this test will able to rule out all of this. So let's say for a lady, if the hormones are low, how does it manifest? How can we know, like generally, what are the symptoms that a woman can feel before the test? Is there anything?
Very good. So let me start with the usual one. As I said earlier, every woman is supposed to have menstrual cycle. There should be menstruation for a period between 3 to 7 days. That's the shedding of the lining of the uterus, the womb. Now, when there's an absence of menstruation in a woman or a woman of a reproductive age, and I say reproductive age, by the age, let's say from anywhere from 13 upwards, 13 years going.
Okay.
Some even record earlier. Some we've even had 10 years menstruating and all that. But let's say on average, 13 years going. It's expected that you have menstruation or you menstruate as a woman. Once you see the absence of menstruation at all, even by the age of, let's say, 30 years, 35, 20, 25, no menstruation at all, there's a cause for alarm.
Okay.
And you need to be investigated. You need to go and see your obs and gynae for further tests to be done, and know exactly why the menstruation is not actually coming as expected. So that is one. And again, in certain cases too, the menstruation can be irregular, right? So you can menstruate this month, the next month you will not menstruate, the next 2 months you'll not menstruate, but you're not pregnant yet. The next 3 months, then the menstruation comes very irregular in pattern in terms of monthly. That one too is a cause for problem. I mean, it's a cause for investigation, because it could be that there are some irregularities in your hormonal situation that is causing all this. So all these things must be investigated. So these are the things that as a woman, once you begin to see, you must be able to be cautious and see your obs and gynae for further investigations to be done, and then they will take it from there. Now, as a man, usually we say that every man of reproductive age, once in a while, should be able to have signs of mild erection. Usually we call it early in the morning. So either early in the morning or any other time of the day, should be able to have a mild form of erection. Even by the thoughts of sexual activity in the mind or being tempted, let me put it that way, should lead to erection. But a man who is not able to erect at all poses a problem. So that will lead up to erectile dysfunction. And without erection, sexual activity cannot go on, and therefore it's not likely for childbirth to occur in the natural course. So eventually, we are saying that these things you should be looking out for. Now, another technical one that may be of interest to us is that women especially who may not be menstruating regularly, but may have certain male features. That could also call for investigations. So the menstruation is not coming as it's supposed to be, but having male features. And we know how males are, and we know who a female is. So eventually, a male should have a very deep voice, naturally broad chest.
I've seen
no breast. I mean, no breast as like a woman.
No breast like
exactly.
Nothing. Yes.
So those features must call for hormonal investigations and further investigations to rule out any cause or any possibilities. So all these things, once we see it, and also especially as we know there are sometimes tiny hairs in women, but
I've seen women with a
very good. So when you see a woman with a lot of facial hair,
yes,
it also calls for investigation, because let's also remember that we have conditions called polycystic ovarian syndrome. Now, polycystic ovarian syndrome is one of the leading causes of infertility in women. So once we see all these signs, we'll be able to investigate and know exactly what is causing this. Then the necessary remedies will be given. So for a woman, that's the side you can go. And for the man, erection problems, and also, I mean, a man that do not have feeling. For example, I said the hormones are responsible for our feelings, right?
Yes.
Now, ordinarily, there must be a sense of a sexual urge, whether a man or female. Now, when the person has never felt that before, it also calls for alarm. In fact, if two people are madly in love with each other, one of the signs is also a sexual urge. That's why I say you are sexually attracted to me or not. Those things are urges. That may not be sinful in itself, but how it is controlled, it is a problem. So in all these things, it is a natural way that the hormones are telling us that it is working. And once these hormones are working, we should be able to feel all these urges, and it is a natural cause. But if we don't have any of these, then it could be a sign of problem.
Wow, wow. You know, once you're talking, I know someone who is closely related to our family. I remember growing up, we don't see him having a girlfriend, even though he's not married. And I remember one time, even the boys set him up and just brought this lady to the bedroom and just closed the door. You know what boys can do? And he was screaming, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. And it's true, I'm not making it up. I know when my family watches it, they know what I'm talking about. And anytime I talk to my dad is like, so this boy, this man is going to go, he will not get married, he will not have children. What a life. But now that you're talking, I'm getting to understand why this is so. So
but anyway, just a quick one. Some of them too may be like the fear of women.
No, for him, it's not
It's
the
not the fear of women.
It's not the fear of women.
Right,
It's like he can talk with women.
Yes,
they talk with
yes,
women, but when it comes to relationship, that's
fine.
that's fine. So women had to leave him. Yeah. So it's so important. Now, as our background from Africa, because these things are not something that we normally do, we will ask, well, why is it important? Is it not God the one who gives children?
Yeah. Okay. So you see, God gives children, and we've been saying some of these things, that God who gives children is the same God who gives wisdom.
Yes.
And He shows directions.
Yeah.
Now, nobody's against supernatural powers. There are supernatural powers as far as God is concerned. And those who believe it, it works for them. But supernatural powers have a role to play when human wisdom and interventions does not work at all.
Yeah.
So sometimes God gives medical practitioners and health professionals knowledge to navigate these problems. And it mostly ends up in good results. Unless that kind of problem is very rare and that there's no medical solution to it. That one, I believe that when you call on the name of the Lord, He who created us can change our anatomy and physiology to cause whatever is supposed to be to be. But the point is that, so far as we know, the conditions I just mentioned are easily managed, all thanks to the wisdom God gave us. So if all these things are managed, once we walk into the hospital, once we walk to see a medical practitioner, he should be able to diagnose and be able to help us solve this problem. So it is also very important for us to do this because, you see, as you said rightly, in our African setting, we need to know the possibilities for us to know all this, because we believe that once after marriage, some people will be starting to calculate the months and all that to see who is coming next and all that.
The extra
so eventually, it is important for us to, and of course, those who are wishing for it, it's a good thing to have children. So once you are able to conceive, you are okay, and it helps in satisfaction for the family as well. So it's very important for us to do this screening.
All right, so we've talked about the blood and we talked about the hormone, which is very good. I've learned so much. Now we want to talk about the blood group. You talked about the rhesus negative and rhesus positive, how it's going to help or how it will cause a problem if we talk about conception. If you can just give us an overview on that.
Okay. For this one, you see, blood group, we all have various blood groups. We are either blood group A, blood group B, blood group O. All right. And for each of them too, there's a rhesus factor attached to it.
Okay.
So you are blood group A positive. That's the rhesus factor. If you have the rhesus factor, then you are positive.
Oh, okay.
If you do not have the rhesus factor, then you are negative.
All right.
Those negative. So everyone who is something negative does not have the rhesus factor. And this rhesus factor and the blood group, they are all a group of substances that help to define the blood grouping system. Maybe for the sake of technicalities, I may have to say that for now. So they just have to know that you are blood group A, blood group B, blood group O. Then the rhesus factor now comes in, whether A positive, B negative, and all that. And then the most important part, so far as pregnancy is concerned for the woman, is that usually when a woman is rhesus negative. So it could be A negative, B negative, O negative. Usually when the woman is rhesus factor negative, and usually if the man is rhesus positive,
Okay.
we have a situation where since the woman is rhesus negative, the man introducing a rhesus positive in the woman will elicit some reaction in the woman
Okay.
that can harm the unborn child. Usually, the firstborn child usually goes unharmed. The second and the third and fourth may suffer complications and sometimes lead to spontaneous abortion or loss of the baby.
Wow.
In a condition that the medical people will call erythroblastosis fetalis or hemolytic disease of the newborn. So usually once you lose that baby, then I mean it's a very sad moment.
Yeah.
But thank be to God, that thing is no more a problem if only the woman undergoes routine antenatal care. So once the person is in routine antenatal care and she knows the blood group as being negative, and especially a man who is positive, then it's likely that, of course, they will give a treatment or an anti-D. We call it anti-D. So that particular treatment will be able to curb the effect of all these things. So the blood group system as to whether a woman will be able to give birth successfully or not may not be a problem if the woman is very consistent with antenatal or the woman visits the antenatal clinic. Usually, it may be a problem when the woman does not go to the antenatal clinic at all. So, for example, I'm pregnant, I'm home the whole of the 9 months. I've never gone anywhere. In that case, I will not know whether I have a negative rhesus or positive rhesus or anything. And that can bring about different reactions and complications with the pregnancy. But once it is defined or known in the hospital, certain treatments are given to avoid this complication I talked about. So earlier in those days, it wasn't common and people were losing babies and all that. But now, thankfully, that is no more a problem. And the idea of knowing your blood group may not necessarily be significant so far as childbirth is concerned. But most importantly, we also need to know our blood group so that we know whether we are compatible with someone in terms of blood transfusion. Okay, maybe someone needs blood and we have to donate blood to that person, or we need blood. And maybe our partner or our son or a child, or maybe someone will have to donate blood to us. We will have to know our blood group so that in case of emergencies, we know what we are expecting. We can even tell the nurses or whoever is around to really know our blood group, and then in case of emergency, the kind of blood given can all be easily determined and all that. So it is no more a problem so far as marriage is concerned. But I mean, if you know, it is good for you because it helps you know what to do in terms of emergencies.
Wow. Wow. These things that sometimes we look at them as if they are trivial, they're really important. So imagine you're resource negative and somebody, your husband is resource positive, and the effect it will have on the child if you don't know that. So the reason why we're doing this is educating people, because sometimes people, they come from different backgrounds, they're educated, but they don't think this is necessary. And I encounter a lot of young people, especially young men, because of what I do. And sometimes they say, what's the need of, I ask them, like, basically, do you know your status, your blood group? Do you know HIV status? Like, and they're sleeping around. And it's easy. They will tell me, like, she said she's negative, I believe her. I'm like, what? You take, okay, let's say it's not HIV. What about the other things that we talked about and the risk that it poses for you? So knowing that is very important. So how can you help us now with knowing this? Let's say you are resource negative, the husband is resource positive, and this you found out about this. How does he help to prepare you, the woman, for pregnancy, and how does he help support his mental health, knowing fully well that this is the condition and it's something that we can work on?
Yes. So I mean, once the woman is negative, the man is positive. The next thing is that that means the first advice is even during conception, the woman must be very consistent in antenatal care.
Okay.
That's the first thing I want to say, because once you are consistent with antenatal care, that treatment to prevent further complications from this resource incompatibilities will be avoided.
Okay.
So once the woman is all these are part of, I'm sure, the premarital counseling. So that once positive, negative, the man is positive, the woman is negative, the advice is strongly given. Of course, every pregnant woman is supposed to be consistent in antenatal clinic, but those ones you must be very consistent to avoid complications in subsequent pregnancy. So that is a general advice. Of course, and once you have this, doesn't mean there's an end to life. Unlike the ASAS in the genetic sickling, genetic screening. For that one, the advice could go in both ways as to whether to prevent it or not. But it must actually be preventive so that at least the unborn child will not suffer any problem. But for the blood group, it has nothing to do with the fact that we can get married or not.
Okay.
You can still go ahead to get married, but
Okay.
the caution is it must be informed. During pregnancy, the antenatal, your midwife or your physician attending to you must be informed. Of course, blood grouping is almost the first things to be done during pregnancy. The first time you report to antenatal clinic.
Yeah.
So definitely it should be detected and then the various treatments given to avoid further complications in pregnancy. So it is no more much of a problem so far as blood grouping is concerned. Yes.
So now you know that it is not a risk and you don't pose a risk of passing anything to your born child as long as it is sorted and things are done in a better way. That's good. So emotionally you are prepared.
Yes.
Mentally, you get yourself ready for the whole process of pregnancy and going through that one. Are there other mandatory tests apart from what we just like? These are mandatory tests that if you cannot do all of this, but at least out of this you should do this.
Okay, very good. So the mandatory ones, especially with infectious, is the HIV.
Okay.
So HIV, syphilis, these two are mostly mandatory.
Okay.
Because of their complex nature of management.
Oh.
And HIV, the orthodox world will tell you, of course, we have no definite cure for it. So eventually, since there's no definite cure for it, then once it is detected, the management becomes a little easier so that the transmission from baby to mother will be from mother to baby will be reduced drastically. So HIV is mandatory. Syphilis is also mandatory. Now, sickling is also mandatory. Sickling cell is also mandatory to screen for sickle cell conditions. So whether both of you have normal hemoglobin structures or one is a carrier or one is, and mind you, you can be a carrier and can be very healthy. Nothing seems wrong. Nothing seems off. Usually those with the sickle cell anemic conditions are the ones that every now and then you may see them being anemic or falling sick or falling into their episodes frequently enough. So that one is there. So those ones too are mandatory because these conditions are very difficult to manage or can put a strain on the family. So the sickling, the HIV, the infectious one and all that, at least, if nothing at all, these ones together with the blood group should be done. The hormonal may be optional. Actually, not everyone will do the hormonal unless you may like to be very much inquisitive to find out exactly what. Yes, but not everybody will like to do the hormonal. But mandatory ones, the HIV, the syphilis, the sickle cell screening, and the blood group should be done.
Okay. Yes. So are they expensive? Because
no. You see, some of these things are okay, but in Ghana here, someone will say expensive is relative. but
dependent.
But generally speaking, I would say these tests are within budget.
Okay.
They are within budget. Yeah, though I cannot definitely say an amount because every lab has unique prices for it. But all I have to say is that it's within budget.
Yeah.
And everybody can walk in there. In fact, sickling is very much okay. To the extent that even if you have, let's say, 100 cities, you should be able to do it.
All
right. Together with all the other ones, you should be able to have a very, good result for decision making. So I don't think it should you need to break the bank before doing this test.
Okay,
Yes.
so they are affordable,
Yes.
they are accessible,
Yes.
and there is a way out.
Yes.
We are going to stop here.
All right.
Next time when we come, we'll just conclude and give advice. Thank you
Okay,
so
sure.
much. This is Sex in the Temple, and my name is Monica.